Family, today the proverb at which we are looking is probably one of the most notable proverbs in the Bible. It's Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, there are some particulars in this verse that we need to consider. First, train up is the Hebrew word kanak. It means to teach and train, but it also means to dedicate. The first dedication a parent must make with their child is to dedicate them to the Lord, their Maker. Parent, you have been given the privilege of teaching and lovingly disciplining your child, a child who ultimately belongs to God. You know, in the first chapter of the Old Testament book of 1 Samuel, there is the story of Hannah. Hannah desperately wanted to have children, and she would go before the Lord in the temple and cry out to him that she and her husband would be able to have a child. At one point in the story, Hannah promises the Lord that if he will only give her a child, that she will dedicate that child to the Lord. In our proverb for today, train up means to dedicate our children to the Lord. And the phrase, in the way he should go, really speaks of a child's individual way and inclination, the way that God has equipped that particular child. You know, some people are good at math, and some people are artists. Some people love music, and some people like to build things. This proverb is telling parents to get to know their children so well that they begin to see the inclinations or the powers which God has given the child, and for parents to help the child to grow in that way. What a great and practical lesson for parents. Don't force your piano player to play football, and don't force your athlete to play the piano. Watch to see the powers God has bestowed on each child and help them to go in that way. I have two sons, and they are both uniquely different with varying talents and interests. Parents, help your kids to grow in the way they should go, in the way God has equipped them. You know, all of our kids need to hear three things from us parents. They need to hear, I love you, and they need to hear, I'm proud of you, and they need to hear, you're good at. Tell each of your children what they are good at and help them to grow in that way. Now, the last thing I want to say about this verse has to do with the heartache that some Jesus-following parents feel when their kids depart from the faith for a season, sometimes for an extended season. Listen to me. When we raise our kids to know Jesus, though they depart for a season, trust God that they will return. James Dobson, of Focus on the Family, was fond of saying, sometimes our kids need to reject our God in order to claim him as their own. Parents, I want to challenge you to keep believing. Keep believing that God is pursuing a love relationship with your kid that is real and personal. And remember, Jesus is always at work. And why would God want us to train our children in the way they should go? Well, it's because God loves our kids even more than we do. And remember, mom or dad, there is no such thing as a perfect parent. So dedicate your children to the Lord and trust him because God loves you. Well, God bless you. I'll see you next time.